All right, Travis. So I've not much time to like I'm English. I've not much time to focus. I don't have much time for this today because I got a little holiday party for the little guys. But check it out. How beautiful is that? Look at your new little bias board in there. I'm gonna get you a better detail shot of that, unless you caught the one yesterday, the update. But today, here's what I have time for. Look at that. All these loose and nasty chassis solder joints, every one of them is corrupted. Look at that filthy, filthy mess. So I'm going to pop these guys off. I'm going to clean some nice little spots on the chassis there, and we're going to make sure this dude right here is ready to roll. It takes him about 5 minutes to warm up. It's a lot of metal there. So that's what we're going to focus on today, so stand by. All right, now this is an absolutely obscene angle. And let me get my earbud in because the audio seems better. All right, excuse me. Maybe that's better for you guys. Pardon me. Whoa. Like I said, this is an obscene angle. Why? Because there's not much space between here and there. Is there? No, there's not. That's the answer. You can see that the output transformer looks like it was spliced in in several places. I'm looking at the primary taps here. God, I don't like any of these solder joints, man. I feel like I need to go through and just. I need to give this guy hell. I need to go through and clean out and reflow all these solder joints. These 470s may be okay, Travis, but you said, hey, work your magic. And I'm going to give you something a little different this time. So I'll explain that later on. But for now, let's clear some space. Now I'm fine joining. Did this guy, this is not a shield for the transformer. Is this a center tap for, I'm going to pop these up and see if this guy use an artificial center tap as well as the actual center tap. So we'll measure from that lead to each side of the filament supply winding, and we'll take it from there. But now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop these grubby bastards off. That's what we're going to do. And maybe I'll... Oh, good Lord, please don't fall. If that thing falls, man, we're all in trouble. So let's get these guys off. Rather, let's remove these guys. I don't know what kind of business you think this is. Let's get these guys out of the way. And I like to route these a little bit differently, but that's fine. There's just a lot of mess. And looking at the way, this is starting to look like a late 60s amp. Looking at how the cathodes are grounded. But some dude probably just threw in some 1 ohm sensing resistors there. They don't need to be 5 watts. That's a little much. And they don't need to be there at all. So, I don't know. I'll just leave it be if it's not going to pose a problem. Let's make some space. Let's make a little space. Let's get these guys out of there. Get these guys out of there. I'm going to join some of these grounds. See how these are set up. We have the preamp ground, obviously ground to the brass plate there over on the input end. And then you have the phase inverter and filter caps, which are all power amp stuff, by the way, coming off of this ground right here. And your ground for the bias supply right there. technically, I usually ground the bias supply away from the other power transformer grounds, because this is stuff, yes, it's going to get filtered, but it's going to be on the grids. So I just like to find a little bit of a cleaner grounding point, just to keep it away from the big ripple stuff. But that's neither here nor there. We're talking about a very low gain amp, so in the realm of things, this will not be very consequential where I ground that, as long as it's away from the preamp. So this guy's got to go. That's awful. I can just rotate it with my hands. These don't appear to have, yeah, those are Kep's nuts, but it doesn't matter if you put a solder lug that also has that Kep's nut type of a feature on it. So it defeats the purpose. It entirely defeats the purpose. So these number 8s, mayhaps they are. Let's get this guy. Wow, just like hand tight. But there's a lot of grease and oil there. And I bet if I'd hooked the meter up, you'd see a lot of, look at that. This is why we don't do this. Aside from the fact that you're dealing with a super heavy power transformer that at some point will, look at that junk. You're dealing with a heavy power transformer that will cause some deflection there, because there's not a lot of surface area being right next to that punch out, and you could actually see that the bottom is a bit concave. Well, I can see it. So you're gonna get some nice, wow, just hand tight, unbelievable. And it looks like there's some new hardware on this output transformer and some missing hardware. So we'll address that as well. This guy, look, this is just funky. Focus, will you? That's just funky. And that's it's unreasonable to expect, oh my God, man. It's unreasonable to expect this, look, layers of stupidity here. It's unreasonable to expect the hardware to perform this task. It really is. You're going to get your own ground. In fact, what I'm going to have to do is, just to keep this with code, I'm going to have to cut these and then bring this power cord in and ensure that this is the longest lead of the 3. Just for safety purposes. And I'm curious about this center tap situation for the filament supply. I'm curious about it. What am I doing? I have tools for this stuff. What am I doing? Where are my tools for that stuff? Right over here in the chassis cradle. Right where it should be. You ever get to the point where you're so disorganized that when things are organized, you don't find them? I'm having that kind of a week. I'm usually very organized. But I've become disorganized as the week has progressed. And what are we sitting at? What's today? Think about it. Look at that. This solder joint right here, it's crumbling. So just take a peek. Look at that. Just take a peek at that. And let me get this guy off too. Just gotta do this right. These are just hand tight. So now if I lift the chassis up, it's gonna obviously strain this area, but I'm tempted to do that to get that side of that bell housing down so I can give her a good scrub. These bolts are gonna, see that? What if I just disconnect this again? So I can give her a proper scrub. Maybe I'll just lift it up like that. Maybe I'll just jack it up. I'll see. And if I just put a spacer underneath the output transformer, a stable spacer underneath the output transformer, then we can accomplish that task. What kind of a stable platform are we speaking about? Well, let's see, how much space do I need? I don't need much space to clear these bolts, do I? No, I don't. So what if I just do this? There we go. That does the job, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Let me get some, let me get a rag down there. The one I don't like, actually, let's use these paper towels. And we'll just do that for now. Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 boom. These guys in there. Just because I don't want to make too much of a mess, I usually don't give it in. But now it doesn't really matter at this point. At this point, it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to make a clean spot. That's what's going to happen. All of this will evaporate fully. I'm not concerned, but I will go for a little bit of dwell time. I'm making a tremendous mess. That's okay. My iron is smoking. The big Weller. The big Weller is smoldering. There we go. That's what I want. And I even want that underneath the caps nuts. So, am I going to destroy a little bit of this stamp in this process? Yeah, just a little bit. It's going to fade just a touch. So, sorry Travis, I made a clean spot. But that's what I needed. Let's look at this guy, huh? Look at that. This is what we do. Clean off my brush. And take it from there. Actually, from this vantage point, I made that ink stamp more visible. Just want to be gentle. Maybe I'll just go through and just scrub the whole thing, but that's kind of outside the scope of this particular restoration, outside of the scope and budget. So, even though I want to do that, I really want to do that, actually. I really, really want to do that. There we go. That's as good as she's going to get for our intent and purpose, our task and purpose. Okay, this looks like some old battleship iron. She was exposed to the elements. Back you go. All right, so let me get some proper. I could reuse this one. I could reuse this one. Oh, these are mine anyway, aren't they? Yes, they are. Yeah, I could reuse these guys. So you're going back. These are nice little caps nuts. There we go. And you want that nice and tight. So regarding the tech that kind of shotgunned the hell out of, he just so happened to remove all of the most sought after values of those blue molded caps, and he replaced them with some very nice Sozo and Fender repros. But I mean, it's still not the original, and that's what you want. You want the original there. You just want that there. Those little blue molded caps, they're not something that's going to make a difference if you replace one. And this is sort of the rule of thumb with caps in general, unless they're unhealthy. You replace one in the signal path, it's not going to make that much of a difference. But you replace all of them, and then you're going to see. You're gonna yield a difference there. That's very audible. I'm surprised while he was in there, I'm surprised he didn't just wipe out all of the ceramic caps and put silver micas in there. I'm glad he didn't. Maybe he ran out of time, huh? So there we go. So this is what we want. Maybe because we have a nice strain relief, I'll just let that one fly since we're on a tight budget. Let's see. So let's see if we can discern this guy. All right, so we're gonna fire up the old, let's get her going. The old Agilent 3401A, 34401. Did I say that? It's kind of morning heaven. I don't even know what I said. So let's see if there's any ground reference. Let's go. Maybe this is the shield, huh? Maybe that is the shield, isn't it? It's starting to look that way. What are you? What are you, buddy? You're not. Yeah, you might be. But that is not a miscolored center tap for the filament supply. No, it's not. Not at all. Let's see. I want to trim this. I want to trim that so we have some nice fresh lead to work with. I'm surprised it doesn't have that green funk in there. I can't stand it. So nasty. A nasty green funk. All right. There's beautiful conductor left. Nice. I don't know if you can see that. Nice and shiny. All right, we're gonna pre-tin this, or tin it. Because we want to have an easier job of making that connection on the chassis. And let's see, do these guys. So I'm actually going to ground these guys on the anode end of the bias filter cap, and then I'll bring this down for one nice ground. We've got space. Let's take advantage of it, and then I'll rotate you this way just a touch. Yeah, awesome. So that's what we'll do for that guy. Let's see, where are we going to put you guys? Sometimes just, you can go here. So that's where you can go. And for this, since I use relatively thin gauge eutectic solder, I'll fold this over and give it a twist, because when you're feeding the big watt irons for chassis connections, it goes fast. It goes real fast. All right. That's all we need. That's it. Not my prettiest joint, but certainly better than what's in there at the moment. Look at that. Just sitting there waiting to short something out. All right, that's nice. And it follows the natural curvature and path of the wires, which is important. Lots of burn marks here. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that. Lots of burn marks, man. All right, so you will go here. That's where you're gonna go, like it or not. And my finger's really bothering me today. Sucks, man. I really want to play guitar so bad. It's killing me. Just feel useless as a musician. It's depressing. I'm dreaming about playing guitar. How sad? Sad is that? It's either sad or it's inspiring. So you choose based upon your disposition towards optimism or pessimism. So I was thinking, if I'm not going to have another surgical procedure, because you know what, I'll stretch this finger out and I'll get 75% of the range of motion back. But 5 minutes later, if I'm not stretching it, it's back to having like only 20 degrees. That's a nicer joint. And that's not, I can't constantly be stretching this thing out. It's so painful. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just learn how to play left-handed, right? Maybe I'll just do that. So let's see here. Man, this guy did not leave any sort of lead left. He didn't leave any length left. So let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to poke that into this ground here. There's a ton of, there's more than enough slack to get that done. Let's consolidate some of our grounds so we're not just duplicating efforts and creating unnecessary clutter in this chassis. That's nice. That's really nice. Let's give these guys a little more separation. Awesome. So now I have the lead coming off of the bias and rectifier board that I need to tend to. I have one more chassis ground to make. This is a nice one. And what I'll do, if this is a particular kind of restoration, I'll go ahead and artificially age these joints so they blend in with the existing. So nothing's standing out. But this is not what this is. That's not what this is at all. So let me get you pulled through. I wouldn't be able to work without these hemostats. Tell you what, can't do it. Just can't do it. All right, so awesome. I'll get this guy over here, and you'll get a proper ground point over here. Where? Right here. That's where you should be. That's where you're gonna be. Let's make that happen. Okay. Let's make that happen. Terrible angle for you guys. Sorry about that. That's what we want. Beautiful. Reliable grounds. That's the name of the game. I'm gonna let those let the power transformer mounting hardware do its job without having to assume some dual role. Just do your job. Do your job and do it well. God, man. What did this guy do? So, all right. Now, I would normally run it this way, but there's a lot of clutter there. Wow, look at this stuff just falling. Look, there's old wire jacket just falling all over the place. So lots of, wow. What the hell? Look what I just noticed. Holy hell, I just noticed this. Because now I'm like really into this chassis. The guy put some tar sealer, I guess, to... Dude, it's not the sockets that were rocking. The guy put some kind of a sealer between the chassis and these sockets, the body of the socket itself on these power tubes, ostensibly to prevent the tubes from rocking. But guess what? They're going to rock anyway because, you see that? That's why you use tube clamps. All right, I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to try to stay mission focused. You can move out the way, however, and yeah, just for this particular restoration, because we're on a budget and I'm up against some time constraints. Normally you would leave this as the longest lead. And that's what you would normally do, but we're dealing with a head. We're not dealing with a heavy combo cabinet. So if somebody trips over this power cord, it's going to bring the head down. It's going to bring the head shell down. And if this was a combo cab, a big twin or a super cab or a pro, then I would actually take the time to do this. This is not controversial, unfortunately, huh? It's just not what this is. All right, buddy. Let's get you tinned up. Nice. Oh, nice. That's nice. Sorry, Brad. I've been saying that for decades, buddy. It's not you, it's me. All right. I love Australia. Even though the government leans a certain way, the people are just fed up. As all good people should be. You guys, take your shit back. Take your shit back, guys. Imagine that on your finger. Good God. I did potato chip my finger one time. I was doing one of these joints in a very tight space. And let me tell you, not fun at all. Not fun at all. And you hold it there until you see the consistency of the solder change. It'll move a bit as it cools down, and you wait. You don't start putting any sort of torque or tension on the lead until you see that the joint has become stable. And as this acts as a huge heat sink, it doesn't take much time. Now I can unplug this unwieldy beast, and the rest of the neighbors can get their lights back. And what you're going to want to do before you set your iron up, you're going to want to clean it. And I'll probably make a video about this. And this is unplugged. Obviously, this is going to stay hot for quite some time. You're going to want to put a nice coating of solder on it. And then I just twist her around inside of the little brass wool, and then that's what you get. You just put her up like this, and that's going to protect the tip, so you can have a nice, long, healthy life. Not you, but the tip of the iron. Let's not get crazy. All right. Oh my God, I'm still filming. What time is it? Dude, this is 32 minutes already. Okay. So, mission accomplished. Let me clean this up. Let me clean some of this stuff up here. Unlike the prior tech, I'm actually gonna... Oh, look at that. I'm gonna have to degrease this at some point. Unlike the prior dude. Sorry, I was interrupted there. Why don't I just do a little sweep over, Travis, so I can just walk you through what was done thus far. Bye. All right, Travis, and the rest of you guys out there, just a quick update. I'm going to give you a quick sweep over. Now, look at that goop down there. You see that? What am I talking about? This stuff. See that? Tar? It's just... So the prior tech was probably trying to isolate some movement in the tubes, not realizing that the pins themselves aren't that secure inside of these little sockets. And he could have just put on some bear traps, some nice little belt and tube clamps. You could see he added some 1 ohm bias sense resistors all the way down all 4 sockets. Not entirely necessary, certainly not worthy of a 5-watt part. I cleaned up the chassis here. I removed all of the chassis grounding points that were relying on the power transformer mounting hardware. I could zoom back out, huh? I removed all that stuff, and then what did I do? I made you nice, healthy, and beautiful little chassis solder joints. Look at that. As God, or Leo anyway, intended. See that back there? I consolidated the grounding points for these guys at the anode end, which is the ground end of your bias supply. You want that negative voltage, right? And then we ran that one lead out to the chassis right down there. You can see that. If this was another restoration, or if it was a restoration even under heavy budget constraints, that was inside of a large combo cab, or any combo cab for that matter, I would have removed the strain relief here, pulled the cable out, and then I would have basically had to restrip your power cord and end up with the ground lead being the longest of the three to meet with code. But since we have a nice healthy new strain relief there, and since this is on, we're dealing with a head here, if somebody steps on that power cord or trips over it, or, you know, if anything happens, the head's going to go tumbling down, and that will be your strain relief. It will be inertia. It will be kinetic energy. So that's it. That's on a nice healthy one. I got to clean those up. There's a ton of little wire filament shavings all over the place. There's a bunch of little solder blobs all over. You can see right there. And even on the wires here, and burn marks all over it. It's like he almost severed this wire with his soldering iron. Just a Sloposaurus Rex. Even burnt the body of that expensive Fender cap. I'm going to go through here and clean up as much as I can. I'm going to have to reflow a lot of these joints on the board. I'm going to have to remove a lot of solder on the sockets. And just tug and pull on every connection before I'm going to feel good about moving on to the other side of the chassis, the dorsal side, as it were. And we'll take it from there. But look at that little guy, huh? Look at that little guy back there. He's happy. And guess what? So am I. Bye.